So a lot of people think old cars are kind of cool, but I mean, I got this because it looks pretty cool and it's like fun to fix and stuff, but it sucks. I've spent like 10K on this car. It's super unsafe and it gets 9 miles to the gallon of premium fuel. So it's like every time I go to the gas station, it's like you get 30 bucks. You've driven for 20 minutes, please pay $30. So it sucks. Maybe reconsider this, but also you've seen how cool it is and how much I've learned. It's so awesome and cool. So are there any benefits? Are there any downsides? That's what we're going to be talking about. All right, gamers, it's time to talk money. I bought this car for $3,800. I've probably put total $10,000 in it. That kind of sucks for a hobby, right? Yes, I could theoretically drive it as a normal car, but that would bankrupt me. So we're not going to do that. There's a study by Eric Lafleur, and he talked about classic cars as an investment. And basically, they suck as an investment. They get about 3.4% annual return. Something like gold or bonds, which is like free money, it's like 4%. So what are you going to do? Get a piece of junk that you have to like take care of? You can get a piece of paper you can put in your safe and make more money. That's pretty cool. And like that's only on the safe cars. Like, let's see, old Porsche, which has like he said risk coefficient of 0.76, which is like how volatile the return on investment is. If you get an old Ferrari or something like that, it's going to be like super risky. You're going to make no money. Depends on which car you get. So just buy a bond from the US government or the Swiss government, and then you're going to make a lot more money, but then you don't have something cool to drive. You have a piece of paper. So is that 0.4% worth it to you? So AAA, I have AAA because this car keeps breaking down. It has a consumer report. It said a new car costs about $11,500 each year to own. That's with depreciation, gas, insurance, all that. These old junkers, they don't got depreciation. They're already worth nothing when you get them. So they only go up in value, which is great. You don't have to worry about depreciation, and you can put that money into stuff like repairs. So basically, they cost about the same each year to run, which is pretty cool, right? Like an old car like this, or something not cool like that. If I drive 1,200 miles a year, which is nothing, this will cost $800 a year in gas. I'm going bankrupt. Anyway, let's talk about safety. Look at this. It's like seatbelt. It's like an airplane seatbelt. Look, it's terrible. This will save you nothing. Look at this headrest. It doesn't exist. Look at this back seat that's been destroyed because I'm working on it. And then, look, you lean forward, you get in a car crash. Your whole body slams forward into this dash, which doesn't have airbags. And then you go through the windshield, which is right here, which will probably shatter and like destroy your bones. Look at this little flap. It's broken. And then this non-collapsible steering wheel, which will impale the driver's chest in an accident. And look at these A-pillars. You get in a rollover, this is a hard top, so it's okay. You will die. The thing will crush you. In a study by Kilminski, they talked about the survivability of old versus new cars. In a rollover, this old vintage type of car, you are 9.5 times more likely to die than that modern Audi because of like wonderful safety things, like a pillar that's like an inch thick. In that Audi, it's probably like 5 inches, and it's massive because 5 inches is huge. A lot of people are saying. Okay, so it kind of sucks, but good thing is, if it does have seatbelts, it reduces your injury risk by like 84%, which is pretty cool. And this has seatbelts, which means it's safe, right, guys? Now, I'm not old enough to drink, but 24% of fatal car crashes in vintage cars are from alcohol. That's compared to 18% in modern cars. So basically, all these old people that own these cars are getting really drunk on the highway and then dying. So as long as you don't drink and you have some sort of seatbelt in your car, you're probably going to be fine. But still not great. Classic car crashes only account for like 0.02% of fatal car crashes. So it's like basically nothing, but also like the amount of these cars that are on the road is basically nothing. So it's like the same survivability, but if you like get in a crash, you're gonna die, or the person you run into is gonna die. But in like a modern car, like the Audi, you're probably gonna be fine. So just another thing to think about. It's like the same, but is it really? But it looks cool. But it looks cool. So I talked about gas mileage a little bit earlier. The modern car gets probably 30, 25, 30 every day of the week. Prius, 50 to 70 or something stupid. This gets 9, like I said. So it's just pumping CO2 into the atmosphere. A modern electric car to produce, though, a VW Golf, that costs about 7 tons of CO2 to produce. Something like a new Polestar, really fancy schmancy electric car, that's 26 tons of CO2, which is crazy. You could drive this thing for 42 years and just be at the amount that it costs to produce a new car. Imagine driving this thing until it's 100 years old. And then just then you get to the amount of CO2 emissions that a new car has. Obviously, it costed a bunch. I don't think they cared about environmental regulations in 1959 when they made this car. So it probably put out 100 tons of CO2 when it was manufactured. But that happened in the past, and we're living in the present, so we don't care about that number. We care about sustainability for the future. So again, it's about the same environmental impact because it churns out a bunch of stuff, but you didn't buy a new car that had to be built and shipped across the ocean back and forth, like lithium from the Congo going to China and then going to like Germany and then going to the US and then going to the other side of the US, and then you have your car. This thing's just here. I got this in Washington. It's been there for 70 years or whatever. So yeah, and it looks cool. And the mountain. And it looks cool. It's black. Batman. Look at the comfort. Look at the styling. Look at the safety. Can't wait for something to break. It's going to the shop on Monday because something's broken. We love old cars. Wow. Which one's more pretty? Which one's more pretty, guys? Which one's more pretty? Who knows? Nobody knows. Me. I'm